Hi, my name is Kata. I'm part of Team Neutron. I'm a science journalist, and together with my team members, Kata, who is also a science journalist, Igor, Vlad, and Hedwig, who are all part of the human-centered design program, we built a software, probably an extension for Juicer, the BBC News Lab current program for science journalists. Basically, what we were trying to tackle, a problem, was what commonly happened in the industry, especially for science journalists, that you have the scientists who have a research, who publish a paper in a scientific journal, and after that, the same institution that the scientist works for has a press release, and from this press release, which can be sent to big news organizations like BBC, Guardian, New York Times, or embargoed scientific press release newsletters, or actually freelance journalists are taken and they produce stories to cover the scientific research. But the problem is that the press release would have the story kind of pre-prepared, pre-packaged for the journalist, so it will have description of the scientific research and quotes from the main researcher, other researchers, or anybody else. And we found out that recently, in the past years, a so-called journalism is happening, meaning that they kind of just copy the press release and change it a little bit, but they use exactly the same quotes from the actual press release, and later on maybe the other news outlets will just copy from one of the other. So basically our prototype Neutron would help to identify this problem by inserting a quote from an article and see all the other news articles which have this totally same quote in it, and then with another software, which also the BBC News Lab is doing, we can extract the names, and with a data visualization you would see these connections between these people who are quoted in the article, how many percentage of the person who did the main research is quoted, and all the others as well. And then you can see that between the primary, secondary, and the rest of the quotes, like what kind of connection is them between them. And this is will be a tool for journalists right now at this moment to identify a problem of objectivity, to not just copy press releases, but find new angle and question why are always the same scientists are asked from that news outlet, why are they always quoted, and why aren't others? And later on, with these names and tags, we can also connect institutions and kind of geotag them and locate them geographically, and build a map of how, from the moment of press release, how the news outlet are kind of spreading all around the world, and see interesting angles and try to use those kind of sources which are undercover just because they're not located in one of the most economically stable countries, and also see the time frame, how these news coverage are dependent of the press release, and how the news coverage is balanced or not, and to see when is actually a critical point of view is coming.